How should entrepreneurs handle failure? The failure of an enterprise not only afflicts the entrepreneur but also distresses the lives of everybody associated with it. And there are various shades of failure. They range from small ones to the ones costing dreams of its initiator and everybody tied into it. Here are some ways to carry on with both kinds of failures, to ultimately beat it and come out with flying colors. Accept failures as a part and parcel of your life. Unless failures will be there won't be any possibility for you to gain hard-earned experiences. And ultimately, therefore, you won't have any possibility to improve. Hence, accept failures to thus open the doors to success and not to get scared by them. Grasp that cold water bottle failures are the byproducts of your ambitious venture. They may range from failing to deliver work on time, to failing to make the much required sales, to failing in keeping the employees happy, to failing in returning the capital to the investors, etc. etc. Therefore, keep the bottle containing cold water of solace and relief at a hand's distance, after getting dehydrated in the scorching heat of those sad outcomes. Do so to recharge your body and mind and join the battle with refreshed vigor and vitality. And for this, the bottle may have everything that refreshes and prepares you for the struggle. This can include any one or more between these: exercise, yogic breathing exercises or the physical workouts, listening to the music of your choice or to yourself, taking supportive words of any motivational speaker, in oral or the textual form, spending time with people that you care for, your near and dear ones, friends and the well-wishers, visiting an inspiring and mentally invigorating spot, and much more. For example, my office also acts like a cold water bottle. Listening to innovative ideas from different team members heals the burns that I get from the failures that range from the small manageable ones to the ones that require everybody's inputs. How to get out of your emotional traps. Successful entrepreneurs must avoid unnecessary emotional outbursts, like getting frustrated because of small losses. Any business demands certain sentimentality, but only those which can prove to be a boon to it. Be careful about getting upset and aggrieved whenever negativity surrounds you, that seem beyond your control. Executing decisions in such conditions can be counterproductive as there is a fear of carrying out them irrationally. Now, we are going to talk about the big failures. Consider re-evaluating yourself. These failures provide an occasion to reassess the factors which caused it. It provides the opportunity to measure your mood and to revert the loss if possible. Also, it provides you an opportunity to take the steps for damage control. Answers can range from lacking sufficient perseverance to the want of infrastructural setup and much more. Learn from your mistakes. Don't blame yourself for the failures beyond a certain point of time. You should try to keep learning from every mistake committed. Blaming yourself continuously with faults takes you towards developing a pessimistic attitude. And this certainly is not going to correct your mistakes and revert the failure. Instead, it will be praiseworthy if you accept failures as the unremovable part of life. Realize the importance of the track that you have taken. 1, 2 or more initial failures, if you can afford, can't and shouldn't compel you to change your track. But if you face such failures more often, reconsider the appropriateness of the mission that you have in your hands. Probably, the roller coaster ride of the entrepreneurial journey was not your cup of tea. Hence, it will be wise to change the track of your career, as soon as possible. Failures. Every single business on this planet have failed, and they've always stood up and worked even harder. If you failed, badly, just think of it as an opportunity, and another chance. Even if you're bankrupt, as long as your brain is in working condition, be thankful. Trust me, it's always figure-outable. If you failed with your first product, take pride. You're among the very few people on this planet who tried. That matters a lot. That failure would just make you more experienced than you were before. I would stop reminiscing about my failure, get over it as soon as I can, and start working on my new project. A new product. You should keep doing the same thing until you be successful. Remember, every failure makes you a better experienced person, and entrepreneurship is all about failures and how you overcome it. Respect time. Don't waste it on thinking about your failures and regretting it. Nothing can change what already has been done. Instead, work on yourself and your next product. You won't have that Lambo making loud roaring sounds, unless you understand how important your failures are. So, celebrate. Take pride and remember you're on the right path for being successful only when you fail. Failure is literally a shock to anybody in all fronts. For a person who has invested idea, energy, time and money in an entrepreneurship would find it really shocking when the plan goes haywire and it ends up in halt. I have explained the step-by-step procedures to get the entrepreneurs out of shock, to correct their mistakes and to gain their confidence back. People end up with repeated failures only when they have not learned properly from the previous failures. I don't include those failures that are caused by the acts of environment. 1. What is a failure? We wanted to travel to a town called A. But we reached a town called B. The difference between the expected result and actual result is called failure. The range of a failure can vary from merely a disappointment to utter loss of money. All failures need not to be caused by the people involved in the business, and the environment can also be a cause for the failures. 2. What should we do when we realize we have landed in a failure? Don't panic. Realize that we are not the only people who knocked the door of failure. Majority of people who ever tasted the success in their latter part of life might have landed in failures. We should try to realize that something has gone wrong, and we should plan the rescue plan without getting affected with panic. Panic won't take us long, and in fact, it will spoil the rescue plan. Somebody can say, we are not saints not to get affected with panic about the failure. Quote. Yes. It is true. We can regret about the failure, but we should not get affected with panic. Panic will not only affect the recovery plan but also affect our mental health as well as physical health. So don't panic. 3. Derive the rescue plan. The question that should come to our mind at this stage must be, what next? Case 1. If the failure continues to happen and the loss continues, think necessary steps to arrest the ongoing failure. At the worst phase, we can even stop the process that is causing the loss. Case 2. No more loss is happening. Analyze the causes for the failure. In the business, the failure would involve either loss of money or loss of property or loss of infrastructure or loss of manpower or loss of productivity. We can't do anything about the permanent loss. This is the unwritten law in our world that no permanent loss is recoverable by any means. We should come to a conclusion that gone is gone. We should not keep thinking about the permanent loss. Example for permanent loss: disapproval, destruction, disappearance of any object, human, money, infrastructure, etc. Lingering thoughts about permanent loss won't help us to recover, rather it will deteriorate the state of mind, health and status. In the case of temporary loss, if there is a failure, then there will be definitely a culprit or culprits that caused the failure. Identify the culprits and initiate the corrective action towards them. Corrective action varies with the nature of culprit. It varies from legal action till the act of compromising. Once the corrective action is initiated, we need to follow up vigorously till we recover the loss.